Uh, Welcome to our ANPA Physics Education Research Study Group meeting. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Today, we have Dr. Sunita Humagain from Moorpark College. Uh, uh, Dr. Humagain will be presenting or facilitating the discussion on a very interesting paper, ChatGPT in Physics Education, a pilot study on easy to implement activities. So Sunita ji, whenever you are ready, so you can start. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone from US, and good evening to everyone who joined from Nepal. Today, I'm going to present a review paper on ChatGPT in Physics Education, a pilot study on easy-to-implement activities by Philipp Bitzenbauer from University of Leipzig, Germany. This study was published in Contemporary Educational Technology paper in March of 2023. Use of AI and chatbots like ChatGPT in classroom is still skeptical, and we all have doubts that the student may misuse the provided resources for something like cheating during exams and not working on their own for the homeworks or any other type of other assessment as well. On March of 2024, Professor Rudra Kafle had given a presentation on could AI agent pass the introductory physics course, although the version of ChatGPT used in the research was older one and it proved that AI bot was not able to pass the class. The newer version may be able to pass the class, but still we cannot avoid the use of AI for long, uh, as we can see how fast the updates are coming and how fast it is taking place in every other field in our day-to-day lives as well. So I chose this pilot study, which is not a reviewed paper, to get some idea on how the chatbots like ChatGPTs can be included in our classroom instruction with minimal preparation time and less financial burden. There may be other ways as well, but this is one of the simplest work study which can be included in classroom instruction. So let's start. First, this research study was performed as there were very less study related to the implementation of chatbots in the classroom practice, and the author thought that use of AI can be valuable opportunity to promote the critical thinking among the students. And main objective of the study is to explore the integration of AI tools in the secondary physics education. And even the author has mentioned, and I also think that although the study is done among the secondary school students, mainly the 12th graders, this idea can also be implemented with some modification in other levels, including the college level physics classrooms as well. Basically, the challenges in use of ChatGPT is the accuracy of answers for the physics questions till now for the available free ChatGPT resources. And without the proper knowledge, there is potential risk among our students to become overly reliant on the AI assistant, despite the answer being inaccurate and inconsistent at times. So there is a need to address the bias in AI-generated content and mitigate those inaccurate answers. Despite the challenges and discrepancies, the researcher found that it is important to integrate the AI in physics classroom for the following reasons. The teachers can leverage the inaccurate ChatGPT output to foster the critical thinking skills among the students by creating the assignments which help on reflecting the ChatGPT outputs. And with the educated mind, due to the exposure to those AI tools, student can reflect about the advantages and disadvantages with the use of ChatGPT to obtain the serious information in general. For this study, the research design was conducted using very simple tool. This researcher was interested in the impact of intervention on the students' opinion and perceptions about AI in general and ChatGPT in particular. So the research question for the study was, to what extent are the students' perceptions of the importance of AI in general and ChatGPT in particular is influenced by their participation in the intervention program? He just did the intervention, which means implementation of ChatGPT in the classroom, was done among the 53 students. We were the 12th graders from Germany, and 30 of them were male and 23 of them were female among the participants. And the intervention was implemented only for the 2 regular physics classes, on the physics lesson on quantum mechanics, in which the students were already known to the wave particle duality, and they only work on that photon and wave particle nature of the photons in quantum mechanics. And main focus of the study was gathering the first experiences of the implementation and getting the ideas of how much the effect of ChatGPT in the classroom was felt by the students. So it was mostly the perception study. And the data were taken as the surveys before and after the introduction of ChatGPT in the lesson. And the data analysis were done just by using the basic mean and the standard deviation, because they were not collecting the a good range of data to do the in-depth statistical analysis like in other researches. And the intervention involved 2 main activities. In the first lesson, the students critically reviewed the ChatGPT outputs on the nature of photons and discussed them in like a think, pair, and share format. And in the second lesson, the students created a conceptual survey kind on the wave particles duality and shared with the pair to check on how much of the critical thinking have improved among themselves. So the first example, this is taken as the screenshot from the paper itself. If it's not like really clear, please check on the link shared by Professor Kaufley in the chat, or if anyone can share it in the chat box, it would be great as well. I am using everything now, and I think I have the link. Okay, let me share that. Okay, it's here. So if you want to check the paper and check the picture in clear, you can check the paper here. I have just sent it in the chat, which is just a screenshot of the question asked to the ChatGPT and the answer that were provided by ChatGPT based on the prompts being used. And if you look there, for the students who asked what is photon, the answer was longer and in detail in part A. And when other students asked the same question with what kind of the particle is photon, the answer was a bit different. So the students, if they are not using ChatGPT, or if they are using just by using a single prompt, they may not have the idea that the different prompts can generate the different, or it may not be like exactly the different opposite answer, but there will be different answer depending on the different prompts as well. So we can leverage this difference in the answers in the classroom instruction. That's what the researcher have used. So this example was used in the classroom to have the discussion as a think, pair, and share method. First, the students were asked to generate a text about photon using ChatGPT, like we see in the figure 1. And after the text have been generated, the students were asked to analyze and evaluate the accuracy and clarity of the information. For example, they were encouraged to search for any inconsistencies and inaccuracies and compare the information provided by ChatGPT with what they have already learned in the class before, which is think part for the students. And then they exchange their text, what was created by ChatGPT, to their peers in small groups. Once they are aware that the information provided by ChatGPT may be different depending on the student's prompt that we see in the figure 1 as well. When they use the different prompts in A and B, the answers were slightly different. The students were then asked to exchange the information with each other, which is the pairing part. And then in the next phase, the student can revise the text produced by the ChatGPT using additional resources such as textbooks, scientific articles, or the online resources. And this type of activity develop the habit of verifying information from multiple resources, not only for the use of ChatGPT, because in science, we always have to verify the information. So for other purpose as well, it will be helpful for the students. And then at the end, once they have discussed in the small groups, they can now go as use it as a class discussion where the students share their finding and discuss the information after the analysis to the whole class. And for the follow-up activity after the think, pair, and share session, the students can be asked to generate the reasonings by the ChatGPT itself on the additional part. And all these two active examples that we are seeing were implemented in the first lesson as they were doing it for 2 lessons. First lesson was using these 2 activities at the same, like one after the another. The discussion in the class then revolved around reasoning, argument, and counteract argument. This picture is another example of such a procedure where ChatGPT was asked to generate the argument on the context of photons. It was for the instructors, like the researcher says, instructors need to guide the students to create the questions like prompt, like how to ask the ChatGPT, the prompts, how to give the prompts to the ChatGPT so that they get the questions in order to get those arguments and the counter arguments from the ChatGPT. So it may be helpful for students to revisit their idea from think, pair, and share exercise that they have done earlier with different prompts and to compare the ChatGPT's responses to check on how it would be different or similar from what they have seen before. Then in the second class or the second lesson, the students were asked to use the ChatGPT to develop a conceptual survey to assess the students' understanding of the basic quantum concepts. And each student created 3 different multiple choice questions related to quantum interference. And those questions were asked to the peers to check the understanding after the intervention of ChatGPT in their first lesson. Again, the questions created by ChatGPT may initiate the classroom discussions like in the first lesson about the correct solution. As time to time, the ChatGPT will produce the question or the answer related to those questions which are not entirely correct from the scientific point of view. And such invalid questions produced by ChatGPT can be used in classroom to reflect on their scientific correctness. And this way, the ChatGPT can not only assist the teachers in assessing the students' understanding, but also provide the students to check on their own and develop those reasoning skills and evaluate the accuracy of the information, not to consume everything that they obtain from ChatGPT without checking with the reliable resource like the textbook or any other good source of information. The assessment question, one set of assessment question developed was, it's shown in this picture, which is also the screenshot taken from the ChatGPT by the researcher, and it was posted in the paper. It's the picture as it is. I have copied from the research paper and posted it here. So we can see actually 4 questions, which is what is quantum information, and these are the multiple choice question, and the student had to answer it. And for the part B, deliberately the students were asked to prompt to give some invalid questions or wrong questions or the controversial question, so that it can be initiate the classroom discussion among the students. After implementation of ChatGPT in the classroom for the students, the student perception survey was done, which is the pilot study for this research. And the survey was done before the intervention first and after the intervention inside the classroom. For the survey, the researcher used 9 questions, which were rated on the base of 5-point rating scales. And in that rating 1 corresponds to the disagree, rating 2 corresponds to rather disagree, 3 means I do not know, 4 means rather agree, and 5 means agree with the statements, the 9 statements that were in the questionnaires. We'll see that in the next slide. And this is the result from the post and the pre-intervention survey. Pre-intervention means these same questions were asked before the ChatGPT was introduced in that tool lesson, and post-intervention after the ChatGPT was used in the classroom for 2 lessons. And as I mentioned earlier, the researcher did only the mean and standard deviation of those scales to generate the results, because there were not a lot of information. And as we can see, the first 4 questions are related to AI in general. First question says AI is important to the society. The statement says AI is important to the society, and we can see pre-intervention, the mean responses were around 2.87, and it increased to 3.89 after it was introduced in the classroom. And other questions from 5 to 9, the other statement from 5 to 9 were more related to ChatGPT. And as you can see, for all the statements except for the number 8, the agreement has increased after the intervention. But for statement 8, as you can see, which says we can use the ChatGPT even if we do not understand how it works. Earlier, the agreement to the statement was mean of 3.32. The rating was 3.32. After the intervention, it's decreased to 2.66. And as the students were introduced to ChatGPT in the classroom, they see that the answers provided by the ChatGPT are not always correct or accurate. Maybe that has affected this rating because now they are aware that we cannot consume everything that comes out of the ChatGPT. So now they know somewhat how the ChatGPT works, and the rating has decreased compared to other statements. But just from this study, the researcher do not think that that only has affected the perception for this statement. For others related to the ChatGPT, like question statement 5, which says benefits of the ChatGPT are greater than the harmful effects it could have. The acceptance rating increased from 3.13 to 4.45. For the statement 6, which was I'm hopeful about my future in the world, where ChatGPT is commonly used, the agreement rating increased from 3.21 to 4.36. And then again, for the statement 7, we should all learn to incorporate ChatGPT in our lives. The agreement rating increased from 3.53 to 4.60. All these statements related to the ChatGPT and the change in the acceptance rating pre-survey and post-survey shows that the perception of the ChatGPT among the students become more positive after the intervention in the class. They were having more positive attitudes towards the use of ChatGPT after having it used in their classroom section. And if you check for the same for just the general AI, not particularly on ChatGPT, although there is the increase in acceptance rating compared to the pre-intervention survey before it was introduced in the class, this increase is relatively lower compared to what we see for the ChatGPT's use of ChatGPT in the classroom. Maybe this was due to the effect of just introducing the ChatGPT and not other AI tools in the classroom. But the researchers think that this still needs further investigation. Just one study may not be able to talk about the positive intervention of the survey because of the use of AI in the classroom. And so from those results, the researcher said that although this study demonstrated the different procedure using the context of quantum physics, they are also applicable in any other secondary school practice in general, or for us, I think we can use it in higher level courses as well, just with some modification, asking how the prompts can be changed among our students as well. And the research study shows that the intervention had a favorable or the positive influence on students' perceptions of the ChatGPT. The participants demonstrated an increase in agreement with the statement related to ChatGPT's benefits and incorporation into their daily lives. However, for the AI in general, although the participants acceptance rate was seen increased, but it was not considerably higher compared to the ChatGPT specific statements. So the impacts on student perception of AI in general requires further investigation. And from the researcher point of view, the further research might explore the other valuable ways of integrating ChatGPT into classroom practice and how the impact of ChatGPT enhanced teaching on the students' critical thinking skills. For this research study, although they were trying to check on like how much effect of the on the critical thinking skills of the students can be affected by the use of ChatGPT in classroom instruction. They didn't do the extensive study, and the study only involved the change in perception of students to the ChatGPT. The use of AI and ChatGPT now can be said that it will always enhance the learning, but this learning always requires the proper guidance from the instructors and teachers to the students. We cannot let them use on their own because there are other pitfalls and challenges on using them as well. That's all from the research topic, but for the further discussions among us, are any of you using AI in your classroom? In what ways? And from what we discussed just now, what other ways can AI be used in the classroom instruction? So If you have any questions to me, I can go over that as well, and we can discuss on some other too. Thank you. I'll stop share.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Humagain, for this excellent presentation on this paper. If we have any questions, any of you have questions, please. I sincerely request, please unmute and ask questions to the speaker. Or if your thoughts are as the questions posed in there, like if you are using AI in some different ways, please share your thoughts. I may not be uh, 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 able to read out the questions, so. I'll mute in case you are uncomfortable to read out the questions. Dr. Silwal is here. He will definitely read the question. Thank you so much. Thank you again. While we are waiting for question, I would like to quickly share my own thought. So I have been not using AI as it is or ChatGPT in the classes yet, but I'm planning to use that in future. Recently, I came to know that the company has made ChatGPT 4.0 free. So previously, I used to uh, search in ChatGPT 3.5, but now ChatGPT 4.0 is also freely available, and it is much improved now. As discussed in this paper, actually, it is so fast growing field that this paper is a bit old now compared to what is happening every day. So, so in future, I will be using ChatGPT to generate some prompts or questions or other kinds of or some other ways. And also, I have told my students that use ChatGPT as a resource or a tool. Do not generate like project paper or solution to homework in ChatGPT. Even if you search solutions to homework, I am fine with that. But you really need to understand the solutions, how they come up, and you should be able to answer those questions in the exam. I will not let the students during the exam use internet, like they cannot use the internet. So in statistical mechanics, statistical physics class, I taught in the spring semester, which is a higher level course, higher level undergraduate course. I let them use ChatGPT or whatever they can, and they. But in the homework, as it is, they did not copy. But I kind of got sense that they used ChatGPT to do some problems in there, right? And so my philosophy is the technology is there, so use the technology creatively, like as a resource. Thank you for again, Dr. Humagai, for this presentation. If there are any other questions, please, or if you would like to share your experiences, please do that. Probably in about 5 minutes, I will stop recording. Probably Dr. Silwal is about to ask a question. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Humagain. Thank you so much for a nice presentation. I really like this paper. They have so wonderfully implemented the thing peers here using the ChatGPT. They modified it as a source, analyze, peer, and like share this way. For my class, I have already used ChatGPT for one of the fundamental of physics, teaching physics class. Students are supposed to write a statement of teaching philosophy at the end of the semester. And I asked student, they can use ChatGPT, they can use any prompt what they want to include in their teaching philosophy. And but at the end they need to submit two document, one generated by the ChatGPT and another what they modified. This way, like at least we are making them accountable and also enhance their learning. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your ideas. And adding to what Rudra sir said earlier, I was in another similar kind of discussion group in AAPTs. Like they have a different group for 2-year colleges, and they had like a month back similar kind of discussion forum. How can the AI be included in the physics classroom? And there's someone has shared that even if the ChatGPT is providing the correct answers to the students, instead of asking the questions like we do directly to solve the questions, someone says that we can ask the ChatGPT to write the answers, and when that correct answer is generated, we can use that answer to ask it to the student, saying what would be the thought process behind this uh, answer, like how the ChatGPT would have answered the question. So that way we can still let our students use their reasoning power and critical thinking power. Instead of just doing the problem, they are now trying to use the answers from ChatGPT and going reverse ways to generate like kind of questions. Or I think some of us are already using it. Even in the regular classroom setting, we can give them the answer and then ask them what would be the situation for these answers to come out. So even if the answers were not incorrect, like in this particular research paper, we can still use the ChatGPT to be incorporated in the classroom for that. And I know that Khan Academy now has the AI tutor, which they are providing for free, but I heard that they said they are not providing the answers right away. They say that they will just help with these steps. So maybe there are other tools as well. And I know Chegg is also trying to use AI in their classroom. And I know at one point, Dr. Silwell, you have mentioned about Gradoscope being used in grading the classes, right? I don't remember. Like, I don't use any of those, but Gradoscope is one of the software that is used in grading homeworks and everything that uses AI as well, compared to other softwares that are used in the
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much for adding that, Dr. Humagain. So you know what? I have been using this Gradoscope since last couple of years, and I really like this because it saves time, and there are you can create rubrics on the fly. It is a very beautiful software. So and also as you mentioned, like there are some actually this publication house they are integrating AI tutors in their software package, or even in the books like AI assisted programs and those kind of things. So at this point, I would like to probably stop recording and we'll do informal discussions.